This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details. Just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
We got some Lynx fans, man, are living in some sort of an utter fantasy world. I don't know what to say to you folks. I thought we had sort of... Because of the success of this franchise, I thought we had more serious fans who adhere to standards. And that's not the same thing as saying we should call for Cheryl Reeves' head because of the way this thing finished. But I thought there was an understanding of, well, yeah, I watched that game. Yeah, they were up 20, right, at home? Yeah, that kind of changed a lot of it, didn't it? Yeah, it changed all of it. But I guess you live in that world long enough, it's much easier, like I said, to blame everything on the incompetent zebras. And let's take, for the sake of argument, let's take these folks at their word that the physicality is ridiculous. But that only works one way? I mean, my assumption is the physicality, or if the officials are incompetent, they're incompetent for everybody over a period of a season or over a period of a game. But somehow we're the only team that ever got screwed by it? Oh, come on, man. It should be beneath the dignity of Lynx fans who have every reason to feel really proud of what this team has accomplished over a period of a long time, right? The most successful pro franchise in this town. It's not even close, but go ahead. Top 5?
I was thinking, we've got the Lynx, we've got the Meltdown, we've got the Vikings, we've got Timberwolves Media Day. Be a great day for Kirill Kaprizov to re-sign, wouldn't it? I didn't even mention what we're going to start with. I mean, Rocco getting fired.
Is that a hint? Is that a call?
No, I'm just saying.
That's not a call?
If they really want to see it for the state of hockey, let's see if that could just go over the top all the madness that we've just talked about for the first 2 hours of the show. We've been on the air for 2 hours. I feel like it's been a week and a half, don't you? With all the stuff that's happened and that we've talked about, and now the Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line
wears you down.
I'm going to have to respond to it.
It definitely does.
Kirill hasn't been signed, right? We didn't miss that today?
Well,
I haven't
that
checked
we
my
know
email.
of.
Yeah.
I mean, the assumption is as soon as he's signed, Russo will break the story, and then it will be announced. I mean, I don't think they'd sit on it for an extra day or two, would they?
If Russo doesn't break the story, do you think he'll resign?
If Russo doesn't break the story, it's not going to happen. Whatever the story is,
that's
sign
true.
or it means that it didn't happen. Simple as that. We know that much.
The Twins, we don't know when their season-ending press conference is. I think the Lynx are having a season-ender tomorrow, so that should be interesting.
That should be fascinating.
That should be, get your popcorn ready.
Yeah.
I'm told Commissioner Engelbert will be in presiding over all of it.
In her IDS tower dress?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We can't even do the dress jokes
No,
now.
we can't now. No. It's you can do it if you want to do it. It's kind of fun. It had nothing, but I mean, this time around, it had nothing to do with the collapse.
Speaking of collapse, Twins did it the last 2 seasons. And Rocco Baldelli is the Chris Carter fall guy. What was your favorite Baldelli Llama moment? The Twins announced at 2:52 Central Time he will not return as the club's manager in 2026.
Damn.
I could read you. We could do press conference or press statement bingo, but I don't think we need to do that. Derek Falvey is very sad that he had to do it. Joe Polad is very sad. They're both very grateful to the Baldelli Llama, but they're moving on, and a new voice and a new vision is needed for 2026.
As I mentioned, over and over, this franchise's timing is just putrid. Let's put it this way, the Twins' timing is ass. Is that the expression the kids say?
They do.
So we ass is bad. We ass means we are bad.
It does.
Is that correct?
Yes. To translate
That's
to
very
kids
different
talk, yes.
from bring ass.
Very different.
Right. Okay. But we ass means we suck.
And what was the league that got shut down in the New York school system? Remember that?
No.
The basketball league where the women were playing in like bikinis. We talked about it 2 years ago.
I do remember
Josh
it.
Broughton still texts me about it twice a week.
Oh, yeah.
What was it called?
Yeah, I don't remember. But, yeah. Well, it was... Yeah, well, they used a high school gym to play the game.
Well, they were trying to, and then the school figured out what kind of league it was.
Right.
But it was basically like the Bring Your Ass Gym.
It was, pretty much, yeah.
Or the Bring Your Ass Basketball League.
Yeah.
It was not family friendly.
No, it was definitely not. That's very, very true.
So
look, Rocco, I'll say again, you can make the argument that over a period of time, enough has happened to say we're going to make a change as manager. Okay? I wouldn't have, but you can make that... or at manager, and I get that, but again, timing is everything with this team, and the Twins management, brass, ownership, they have the timing of an ass. Does an ass have bad timing? I'm not sure.
They're bad at everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So because again, this team, for all intents and purposes, to me, ceased to exist on trade deadline day, whatever that date was. I don't know what it was.
July 31, right?
I guess it was.
Yeah.
And when the bullpen got gutted. So I just, to me, it looks, even if you think you have reasons on Rock over a longer period of time, with a conscience that allows you to sleep at night, how you do anything but apologize to the manager. I mean, maybe that's the way to do it. The long version is we have to make this move. But as we do it, we're going to apologize to Rocco Baldelli because even though we felt like we needed to do it, the fact is this isn't about what's happened since the trade deadline because there is absolutely nothing that the greatest manager in the Sparky Anderson couldn't have done. Tom Kelly couldn't have done anything with the roster that we saddled him with. So as we're firing him, and we'll pay off his contract, obviously, we're also going to apologize to him as well, but they didn't have, the Twins, again, didn't even have the decency to do it. Collapses the last 2 years. As of August 17 a year ago, we were 70-53. Since then, going over the weekend, into the weekend, because I don't know, did we win 2 out of 3 in the weekend? I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
Going into the last weekend of the season, since then, since that high mark of 70-53, last August 17, we are 81-117. 81-117. So obviously, we've never really recovered from the collapse that started last August. Can you put more of that on Rocco? Probably, because we didn't gut the bullpen at the trade deadline. We didn't help him by adding anything at the trade deadline, but we didn't gut the bullpen. So the larger picture may be that ultimately you have to do it, but I'll say again what we said a couple times. If I am assessing percentage blame, I got Derek Falvey at a much higher much higher plane than the manager at this point, and obviously the owners are above Falvey as well.
My apologies to the fine folks at the Nuttin' Butt Ass basketball tournament. And now that I've Googled this, although I'm sure hockey's Googled much worse on this computer than I have, but now I'm sure I've been flagged by some iHeartMedia corporate overlord. But Nuttin' Butt Ass,
was
the basketball game that we were talking about. We're going to talk plenty of Vikings the rest of the show, I imagine. I do want to mention that Gopher quarterback Drake Lindsay was named Big Ten Freshman of the Week today. He was 31 of 41 against Rutgers, 324 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a 166 QB rating as the Gophers rallied to beat the Scarlet Knights on Saturday at Huntington Bank.
He was excellent. You were there, but because it became ever clearer as the game went on that the head coach realized we got nothing on the ground, and we're going to turn the game over to the kid quarterback. And you throw as often as you want, kid. Wherever you want, kid. And he was, I thought, outstanding. I thought it was a really big victory for your club because we talked about the way this season is going. You shouldn't have lost to Cal, but if you compound that by losing your first Big Ten game at home, again, I don't want to say the season's over, but you put yourself behind the 8 ball where it's going to be hard to have what might be viewed as a successful season. So I thought it was a highly entertaining game. I thought they were dead in the water at 14-0. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought it was over. They kept coming. They kept playing.
Largest deficit they've come back from at home since like 92.
And part of that, too, again, is because they can throw. Because they're not counting on a running game that right now does not exist. And he looked really good. The thing about Cali McManus is you could at parts of that game go, man, how do you let this kid go?
I know.
Yeah, look how he's improved. I mean, you had to play it out with him. And then there's other times you go, well, no wonder you said, take it easy, good luck to you. we'll move on with the rest of our lives because he is a feast or famine, very much a feast or famine guy.
I feel like there were like 7 throws that could have been either an interception or a touchdown.
Absolutely.
And that's an interesting place to live. I had someone get these numbers for me quickly on Ethan because he started out 10 of 13, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. His rating was 211, which I didn't even know was possible, but that's how good he was, Ethan Kaliakmanis. Then he cupped his hand to his ear to the student section.
Student section. I tweeted it at the time. Ever since then, he was awful.
11 of 21 for 120 yards and a pick for a 90.86.
And there probably should have been at least one other pick, maybe 2 more picks.
Maybe 2 more.
Yeah.
But then even his touchdown throw after what could have been a pick was like sandwiched in between 3 guys.
True.
It was a perfect dot.
It was.
And his receiver made a great catch. Yeah, it was. But as I was telling people, because that was an 11 o'clock game, so I was kind of around town after, right? Had to go to Costco to pick up pizzas. My kid had a football game. Everyone's like, man, fun game, great game. I said, buckle up, buddy, because that's how a lot of these are going to be. That's just how a lot of them are going to be now.
It's Columbus this week, right?
It is. I'd love a back and forth game there.
Yeah, back and forth game would be
They're
a moral
number 1 in the
victory
country.
for sure. Yeah, they are. They're pretty good.
But a lot of these Big Ten games are going to be like that. Gutty.
We'll save it when we have more time. Little lucky, but also gutty. I'll give him a little bit of both.
Well, that game was shaping up to be the classic Iowa.
It was,
Kinnick Stadium.
and I thought they were in trouble because of that. That's exactly how it looked. And then they, but I do think Iowa QB guy looked good, better than I thought. And then he got hurt.
Yeah.
That did change the game a bit. That's it for now.
We should straddle, yeah.
Yeah, let's straddle. We're guest free the rest of the way. We got more Vikings talking points to get to. Lots of Lynx apologists to address as well via the text line. I had no idea, man. I guess it's just a Minnesota tradition.
If you missed us at the State Fair, you can shop all of our 2025 fair designs in the KFAN Pro Shop. Unfortunately, We As is not there yet, but From Dong Show to Gong Show is, Corn Sweat Survivor is, Wheel of Topics is, Pull Your Hands Up is, all of those are, and a few brand new variations as well. Secure your new KFAN merchandise at kfan.com/store.
I don't know if on the big board at Target Field they have continued the tradition that often took place when the Twins played at the Metrodome, the proverbial walks will haunt message. But it applies as it pertains to Vikings talking points. In this case, it's not the walks so much that will haunt. It just might be the penalties.
So here we are, 2nd and 7 from the 13-yard line. And this is going to be Jefferson heading to the right side. He crosses the 10-yard line, and he gets down to the 7, close to the first down at the 6. It'll be a play of about 6, maybe 7 yards, so it should be 3rd and short.
Yeah, we have an ineligible receiver downfield.
Flag.
So Pittsburgh's going to have to decide if they want to take it back or accept it.
Brad Allen is the referee.
And nice job by Brian O'Neill to get out there in space and throw a block. But what I do like, Paul, is Justin Jefferson touched the ball 4 times already.
Offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
It's Will Fries. Carson Wentz on 3rd and 7 from the Steelers' 44. Ball start Vikings.
Come on, guys.
Full start. Offense.
You know, Paul.
5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Brad Allen and his staff, Pete, called the fewest penalties on average of all the staffs in the NFL. 9.5 flags per game.
And the Vikings need that. We were number 2 in the league in penalties. And you look at 2 of the drives so far, we were down deep, about the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
Right? You get a 5-yard penalty, then you get a sack, and then we have to kick the field goal. Now you go from 3rd and about, 3rd and 5 to a tackle for loss, and now another penalty. Now you're 3rd and 13 with a right tackle who's new.
Chris Boswell, boom. Here's the kick with a 21-6 lead to the 9-yard line. Here comes Miles Price. Heads to the left side of the 20, 25. Nice block, Ty Felton. Miles Price to the 40. No, a flag. He's to the 50, 40 in Steelers territory. Was that Ty Felton block too nice? Oh, man.
That was late.
During the return, holding number 58 of the return team.
Wow, Bernard.
10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even know who had the holding call. Jonathan Bernard's not out there in kickoff return.
That's too good. That's just too good. Walks will haunt, man. Penalties will too. And that first one, was your guy, Will Fries.
Yeah, the JJ one hurt.
And because it was going to be first and goal at the Pittsburgh 6-yard line, right? So instead it becomes 2nd and 12 from the 18. Did we get a sack at that point? Regardless, we had to end up settling for a field goal. So it's 3 points instead of 7, potentially. That certainly hurts. The Darisaw false start is on a 3rd and 7. 3rd and 7 sounds not great, but it sounds a hell of a lot better than 3rd and 12. And on that occasion, Wentz was sacked, right? And then you had the Miles Price kickoff return. It was brilliant, 56 yards. Now, we're down 21-6, but that's exactly the kind of play you're looking for to get yourself jump-started.
Yep.
And they called the penalty on Thomas. How do you pronounce his first name? Tavierre. Thomas. That's who had the holding penalty. It did look like it came one of those where you didn't need to do it. And I didn't think he really held that long, but they called it. And so suddenly you lose 47 yards on the Price return, which was all the way to the Pittsburgh Steelers' 35-yard line. And all those things add up. In a game where, it doesn't take much, you end up getting back into the game. All those things add up, contribute to the position, unfortunately, that the Vikings were in. Have we heard anything officially on the right tackle? We think it's an MCL, correct? But we haven't seen or read an official announcement, correct?
Correct.
That's what I thought. That's what the head coach hinted at or mentioned, the possibility of going to be an MCL.
Yep.
An MCL, as we've learned, doesn't have to sideline you for a season, but generally means you're going to be out for a little while, right?
Yeah.
Even if you're an offensive lineman?
Yes.
You're going to miss more than 15 minutes.
It's not good.
One would think. So
it's not good.
That's the situation.
I don't have a great feeling heading into London.
No, there's no again, my good feeling, if there is one, much of one, is Cleveland can't score. And they shouldn't be able to score at all against us, where I didn't think Pittsburgh was going to be as good offensively as they look, but they've got some people. Aaron Rodgers can still chuck it in that controlled fashion, as we saw, right? We'll get to the running game, which was much better in the case of Pittsburgh than it should have been. But I look at Cleveland as utterly feeble offensively. Who do they play this weekend? I don't remember.
Oh, let me pull it up.
Double check who they met.
I was with a Cleveland fan yesterday at Gray's Food Hall, and we were talking about it, and now I can't remember.
I honestly don't even remember who that was. While you're doing that, let me get to a couple of more texts regarding the demise of the Minnesota Lynx.
They lost to the Lions. They got crushed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was actually a reasonably close game until it wasn't. And then it got out of hand. They scored 10. I mean, they're terrible offensively.
Right.
They're a mess.
Yep.
I mean, we all love the story. Who's the QB, the Methuselah quarterback they've got?
Joe Flacco. I mean, it's a great story. The guy, but I mean, come on. I don't think you can really be serious as a football team if you are going into the season with Joe Flacco as your starter. Can you? No.
Not at this point.
No.
Joe was a really good player.
Won a Super Bowl.
And he again extended his career beyond to the point where I was hoping the Vikings could get him as a backup, as a second option, but not as a guy you want to really turn to. Dan, I agree with you 99% of the time. However, you're missing the boat regarding the Lynx. I played college basketball, so I feel like I'm fairly educated when it comes to the game. Let me just tell you, with all due respect to 218 guy,
don't Ryan Clark us.
Don't Ryan Clark us. Don't do that. Don't just lay out what you believe, because I can find you plenty of basketball players who understand exactly what happened to the Lynx in that series. But I digress. Games 2 through 4 were some of the worst officiating I've ever seen in my lifetime. Well, I'll ask again. Is the directive that start to finish throughout a game, if the officiating is bad, that it only affects one team? It just doesn't. It's illogical. It just doesn't even make sense. Now, he says what the Lynx should have done was match their physicality. Phoenix played relentless defense with a lot of pushing and grabbing, and they got away with it. Well, okay, if you want to accept that logic, which I think, again, is oversimplified, then you got to match force with force, even if you are more of a finesse team. Or, presumably, you should be able to get away with a lot of pushing and shoving as well. It's just too easy. Here's, I think, for me, the simple truth. 612 guy, Lynx, who describes himself or herself as a Lynx season ticket holder, huge fan. Phoenix was simply better. Refs are terrible for everyone. Simple fact is, Lynx struggled all year against big and or physical teams. Phoenix, Seattle, Atlanta, Indy all match up well against us, and when the refs let them play a physical game, we simply did not have an answer. In effect, is he saying we should have drafted Angel Reese?
Well, that's a lot of people have been sending that today.
Although,
I still think that's a little convenient.
Again, Angel Reese, is she a villain in Chicago now or not? I can't tell. Is she a hero for saying she wants no part of the ineptitude of the club? Or is she a villain because she was so vocal about saying she didn't want to have anything to do with anybody? I don't know what to think. So I don't know. You could look at it as Reeve was vindicated, or you could look at it as people who wanted Reese to be signed, or drafted, I should say, were vindicated, because the assumption in a year where I think we got a lot of free agents, we're going to have to find a way somewhere to add some physicality to the group.
And maybe they can do that with the Chicago Sky top 5 pick that they have because of that Angel Reese trade.
Yeah.
That would be the hope, right?
That would be helpful, would it not? It'd be helpful for sure. I never did find the Larry Mondello guy cheap shot regarding the Rocco dismissal. I apologize for that. Did Dan see Bill Simmons tweet about it? Yes, I did, and I disagree with him. Gaardsy, I don't even disagree with you, Gaardsy. If a foul had been called on that play, I would not have lost my mind.
Right. You could have called it. If
a foul was not called on that play, which it wasn't, I wouldn't have. To me, it's close enough where I wasn't going to be calling. I wasn't going to pretend like Cheryl Reeve did. It's one of the worst calls in history. Now, the aftermath was unfortunate. Terrible luck. There's no question. You not only don't get the call, your best player is done for the series.
Right.
I mean, that's a nightmare.
It's terrible.
There's no doubt about that. But I just don't think. I mean, Simmons is obviously, I think, a very savvy basketball guy. I don't think he ever played the game. Did
no, he didn't.
Ryan Clark brought that up, I think, just the other day. But I respect his opinion on a lot of stuff. I just don't know that I necessarily have to. Don't know that I have to agree with him. Dan, more likely to be Twins Coach Walls, volunteer dad Roger Clemens, or current high school coach M. Pelfrey. That is from.
That'd be a nice
Clayton
staff.
That would be a hell of a staff, wouldn't it? That would not be a hell of a. That would be a hell of a staff. You're 100% right. What's this about? How about taunts will haunt you? Did you see Jalen Ramsey with his fake hamstring pull touchdown celebration?
Yeah.
It got called back. Then actually he did pull his hammy later in the game.
He got eighth-ened a little bit.
He fooled me. I thought he really was hurt on that celebration.
Yeah, he had me for about a half step, and then I said, oh, no, he's doing the fake hammy thing.
Is that the bit?
That's the bit. It's very wacky. It's very wacky.
Somebody did. Who did the little Irish jig? Was somebody? There was the Steelers defense.
Yeah, everybody for the Steelers for the first 30 minutes.
Yes,
they were all doing it.
It's unfortunately true. How about this analogy? Rocco was the Russell Crowe victim from Gladiator. He was set up to die and never had a chance with the wonderful trades that our great management made. Interesting. I've never seen that film, Gladiator, the Russell Crowe.
It's good.
You have seen it?
Yeah, it was like right around 2000, 99, 2000.
Yeah.
It's good. And Rocco will have his vengeance in this life or the next, to quote that movie. You've never seen it, so I don't know why I'm telling it to you. The people that have, they would get it.
Well, now it's ruined. So you needed a spoiler alert there is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, you don't really know what he's talking about.
Well,
but he will have his vengeance.
It'll be in the back of my mind now if I ever if I rent the film.
In this life or the next. You'll be waiting for it. You'll be waiting for that line. It's a great line.
And will that ruin things?
I think that's the "Are you not entertained" line, too. I think he says that.
We call this Vikings talking point, we didn't need Harrison Phillips.
By the way, Kenneth Gainwell has his first 2 rushing touchdown game of his career. And I know everybody's happy for him. And he's going to toss left to Kenneth Gainwell, the former Eagle, has some room to the left side. And he scoots up outside the numbers across the 35. And he's finally taken down by Eric Wilson after a 9-yard run. It's 2nd and 1.
Yeah, for Kenneth Gainwell, he's averaging about 3.5 yards per carry. So that was a good one. They like to bring in the extra offensive linemen sometimes to get the ball outside. Spencer Anderson, that's what they did. They made it for the 5-man front. They brought in the big men and turned it into a running game.
toss left, Kenneth Gainwell. Ooh, he shakes a tackle of the Vikings at the 42, turns it up in front of his bench to the 45, gets into Vikings territory with an 8-yard run. Kenneth Gainwell, formerly a deep backup with the Philadelphia Eagles, he has a touchdown and a 9-yard run. It's a 3rd and 1.
Yeah, they're stretching us on the outside, running that zone, and like we talked about earlier, as the big man Spencer Anderson checks in at tight end, they're just trying to get big bodies on our outside linebackers, get multiple big bodies on our outside linebackers.
Inexcusable, either in terms of execution or we got our asses out coached. As good as we love B-Flow. I mean, was anybody saying anything positive about the Pittsburgh Steelers ground game going into that game?
They were not.
It's one of the worst. And I remember seeing the triumphant tweet from Alec Lewis, Vikings are fine, because the injury report came out and the Steelers' number 1 running back, Jaylen Warren, was out, not available. So somebody I'd never heard of, you just heard about, named Kenneth Gainwell. Second half alone, 14 carries, 74 yards. No excuse for that, right? I mean, it can't happen. And again, if Aaron Rodgers is limited at this point in his career, we never got a chance to see it because we never made Rodgers have to throw. That ground game allowed Rodgers, in fact, the second half, I think they only threw like 5 or 6 times. It's a very, very controlled, conservative offensive approach from a passing standpoint in the second half. And you just can't give that up. You can't give that up on the ground to a team that is missing its number 1 running back. Come on. And that's the second time in 3 weeks we have gotten gashed at the line of scrimmage. Now, you could maybe excuse it away when it was Atlanta because they have one of the best running backs in the league. What's the name of their running back?
Bijan Robinson.
By the way, they rebounded with a victory, I think, yesterday. But that excuse ain't going to hold water tonight or last night, yesterday morning, whatever it was. By the way, we had a text that jogs my memory much earlier in this show from longtime listener Rachel, and Did
she play basketball?
No. She's bitter at the start time, the idea that she's curious about what the ratings are like for an 8:30 a.m. Sunday football game. Now, my assumption is locally they're not as good as when the game is at noon or the game is at 3:25 or the game is at night, Sunday night. But I'm betting the ratings are still surprisingly good.
Oh, they're great.
Overall, it's not the most convenient time for a lot of people, right? Who like to sleep in on Sunday morning, whatever. But I don't think, in all honesty, there's going to be any movement here. The NFL is going to move away from it because of concern that not enough people are watching. Enough people will find a way. It's the one league where people will find a way to watch. They'll just find a way to watch.
You can have your entire day ruined before lunch. It's the beauty of having the 8:30 Central kickoff time. Your day can be absolutely ruined if you're a Vikings fan before you even hit the high temperature for the day, which is what happened yesterday.
That's very true. Never seen Gladiator? Oh, my. Here's 701 guy, I'll tell you. If you've seen Spartacus or you've seen Ben-Hur.
I was going to say Ben-Hur.
You don't need to see Gladiator. I mean, it's just, I'm sorry. I mean, it's those are the original, those were the real Gladiator, especially Spartacus is more of a Gladiator movie than Ben-Hur. But Ben-Hur has some of the chariot race in Ben-Hur. Charlton Heston, are you out of your mind? Ain't nothing in Gladiator that could possibly touch what took place in that motion picture.
Did you like that race more or the linebacker racing to chase down Jordan Addison? Which race was better?
Yeah, I didn't include that in the talking points. We probably should have.
Well, it's in there.
Do we have an explanation? Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's in there in a different form.
Do we have an explanation?
Well, the guy's fast. PA just said he was fast.
Well, you looked back a couple times. How much does that slow you down? What did the analytics show you on that?
You're supposed to just keep going forward.
Do you think Addison was thinking about his dog? You think that might have distracted him?
Well, that's what I said. Yeah. The linebacker was running like he just found out his dog was in trouble.
Yeah,
and he got there.
To that. Very true. One other strategic flourish to get to that I'm confused by, and maybe you can educate me.
I did not play high school or college football.
Neither?
No, I played through about 6th grade. Both sides of the ball.
What do we got left? We got horseshoe. We'll save horseshoe for a little bit later because that's included. That play was in the horseshoe?
Yes, it was.
So I'm confused. I understand how, smart everybody wants to look, quoting analytics, statistics, and, probabilities. I get that. That's how you look smart around the water cooler. But the abuse that Mike Tomlin was getting by the TV announcing crew.
Greg Olsen, by the way.
Greg Olsen,
so
especially, I'm not talking about when they punted late to give the Vikings the ball back one last time. I'm talking about the decision to go for it on 4th and 1, up. At that point, what were they up by?
Are you talking about the 4th and goal?
Yes, 4th and goal.
Where they ran the ball?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me give you so basically what the announcers were saying was, we have to go for it here because it's a 2-score game whether you kick the field goal or you go for it and don't get it. It's still a 2-score game.
Right.
And I'm screaming at the TV, you're an idiot. With 4 minutes to go, in my mind, there's a very big difference between forcing the other team to score 2 touchdowns to beat you than to get a touchdown and a field goal, touchdown and admittedly 2-point conversion, and a field goal to tie you. I thought absolutely Tomlin got goaded into the wrong decision.
Yeah.
Now, on the 4th and 1 later to give the ball back, I probably would have gone for it. Although, again, I understand because you didn't kick the 3 to put yourself in a position where they needed 2 touchdowns. If you give up the ball there, obviously, they only have 20 yards to go for the game-tying field goal.
I didn't have any problem with that.
No, but I don't think it was. He made it sound like it was a no-brainer that you have to go for it because if you go for it, you get a touchdown, you win, then the game's over. I grant that point. But with that much time left, with 4 minutes to go in a game, I want them to score 2 touchdowns. I kick in every time I kick the field goal. Don't you? I
understand why they did it. My biggest problem was...
Why did they make it sound like there is no decision here? Because to me, there is at least a decision to be made because when you talk about... you can't just call it 2 scores. 10 is different from 14. Even I can do that math with 4 minutes to go as far as I'm concerned. But go ahead.
So 10 would be different than 13, right?
Yes, correct.
Because it was 24-14
They were going to have to score 2 touchdowns to beat you.
Yeah. I just hated the play call.
Yeah, well,
Because I think Olsen said that, too. You go through all that.
Well, they were cocky because they'd run so well.
That's the box, is that, and we're assuming that they're just going to let Aaron Rodgers throw it because that's what he wants, right? He wants to make a play right there and do a million things. The 4th and 1, that was obviously a huge discussion point as well. It sounds easy to just go, well, you just get the yard, which, of course, but we see it all the time. Teams don't get it. I don't think Rodgers is up for a tush push.
No. You saw the one.
Yes, it was great.
It's tremendous.
He's got his hands on his hips like he's at a
5
urinal.
yards back,
just hanging out.
Yeah, right.
And so he doesn't want to do that.
No.
And if you don't get it, the Vikings have all kinds of time. And again, they have to go they could go 15 yards with Will the Thrill to kick a 60-yarder.
How much time was left at that point? Look that up.
I've got it here. Where are we? 24-21. 108.
Okay, so here's another thing to look at. If you give up the ball, where were they, at the 40?
They were at the 40.
Okay, so you give up the ball at the 40 because you don't get the yard. Not only are they 15 yards from field goal range.
Good point.
They might be able to go to steal the game.
You're right.
And KOC would have gone that way. He probably would have tried to, right?
Of course they would have. Well, the first play, we probably would have been sacked because he would have done a 7-step drop and tried to activate somebody 50 yards down the field. But then here's where Tomlin got jobbed, though, and then his punter just boots it into the end zone.
Yeah, I don't understand. What was that all about? Was that under orders? Or
I don't know.
Did he just kick it too hard?
Because that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
Just get it down there, even at the 10. It doesn't have to even be a great, 9-iron, stick shot that you just, because you only gave up there 15 yards or whatever it was. So, yeah, it was. The Steelers gave them every opportunity to try to get back into that thing. That's why the NFL's crazy. That's why people continue to watch. That's because that game was dead and nothing felt good about it. And with a minute left, the Vikings had the ball with a chance to tie or win the game. Country's Outlaws coming to Minneapolis. It's actually St. Paul. Don't miss Eric Church live at Grand Casino Arena on February 7th. The Chief brings the fire. You don't want to miss it. Tickets go on sale Friday, October 3rd. That's this Friday, 10 a.m. Full details at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
It's the Bumper to Bumper Seal of Approval.
Probably worked out to our on the plus side that we didn't have very many guests today because there's been so much to explore beyond just the picking up the pieces after another very disappointing Vikings loss. Bumper Seal of Approval today goes to a golfer by the name of Tom Watson, who offered this via X. I'd like to congratulate Ryder Cup Europe on their victory. Your team play the first few days was sensational. More importantly, I'd like to apologize for the rude and mean-spirited behavior from our American crowd at Bethpage. As a former player, captain, and as an American, I am ashamed of what happened. It was bad. It was, I think to a certain degree, rather soul-crushing. And maybe I'm being too hard on the U.S. players. And I'm certainly not the first to say it. But unless I missed it, I'm somewhat disappointed, more than a little disappointed, that there was no U.S. player who melted down and said, enough of this BS. This doesn't represent us. This doesn't help us. This is not in the spirit of anything. Even in the spirit of, we understand, Ryder Cup is different, right, than a regular golf tournament. There are more emotions attached to it. But I would have lauded and loved any U.S. player to make a big issue of it and say, stop it. If you think you're helping us by exhibiting this kind of crass behavior, you're doing the opposite. You're embarrassing us. You're embarrassing yourselves. And I wonder how much of this is, going into the tournament, there was story after story of Team Europe. They don't know what they're in for. That's a New York crowd. New York crowd, man. They pride themselves on how tough they could be. And then the crowd went to hell with the joke and said, yeah, you're right. You know what? That's what we are. We push the limits. Now, I'll ask you this question. I asked it earlier today of golf aficionado Royce. What year did we have the Ryder Cup here? 2016?
The year that Royce said he would cover the Ryder Cup and then retire, 2016.
That's it. So that was at Hazeltine, correct?
It was.
Okay. Do you remember, you were there, I was there.
Yeah.
Do you remember the crowd being anywhere near as pathetic and obnoxious as on a regular basis the Bethpage crowd seemed to be?
No, I do remember it was an issue, though, a little bit. This discussion, not to this level where things were getting thrown at players' wives and stuff like that, but I do remember it being a thing that the crowd was pretty crazy. But not like that. Not like this. I do remember vividly Rory being asked about it.
There are distinctions. There are grades to this thing. I guess, and maybe, my memory's not very good. I didn't remember anything quite. I was ready to issue a second seal of approval to our own crowd.
Well, we get to bounce. We get to have the bounce
civilized.
Back.
Well, yeah, but how will we handle it? I mean, that's the question.
We need to handle it the right way.
I hope we do. And so maybe it was a little worse than I remember it, but we'll agree it was nowhere near as crass as what took place in New York. And was it that crass because people were getting frustrated with, obviously the first 2 days it was a disaster, and then we make this miracle comeback that actually made the thing surprisingly close. Was it ended up being 15-13?
15-13, yeah. It was crazy.
Which is crazy. But is that what lent to people saying, "Oh, what the hell? We're going down with the ship anyway. We might as well just make complete asses of ourselves." I mean, in all seriousness, what is accomplished by it? I guess it's a stupid question because there is no attempt to accomplish anything by it. It's just people deciding they can be as crass as they want to be. Correct?
Yeah, I'm pulling up a story from 2016.
Because I wanted to believe that the 2016 crowd was all wonderful.
No, I mean, it was mostly fine, but here's just a part of it. Some level of civility is expected, and given the proximity of spectators to golfers is tolerated even less. It's telling when U.S. Captain Davis Love III was scanning the crowd to point out the offenders, or when Jordan Spieth did the same.
Oh, yeah, okay.
They appreciate the support, but not when it gets nasty. And then they write, these sorts of incidents occur at the Ryder Cups in Europe, although it seems there is just a tad more decorum on the other side of the pond.
Well, here, I don't know what to make of this. So, Johnny Athletic just tweeted. He must be listening. Is this sarcastic or serious? That kind of boorish Ryder Cup behavior would never happen at Hazeltine. Is that him being sarcastic?
It must be.
And he's one of us. I'm not. I'm trying to defend the crowd more than he is, and he's one of us. So maybe my memory isn't very good. But to your point, it sounds like there was an effort pretty quickly to put a lid on it, right?
Yes, the players did.
It didn't. And I'm talking about the U.S. players.
Exactly right.
So did I miss it? Were there U.S. players who said, it just seems to me the one thing you got going for yourself is you do have some authority that I like to think golf fans would pay attention to if you step up and say, stop this. This has nothing to do with edgy competition or with having a bit more of a home field atmosphere. We don't want this. This isn't helping us.
Right. And
it's hurting you. So did anybody?
I don't think in fact, Keegan Bradley was asked about it at one point, the captain. And I don't have the quote right in front of me. I could look for it, but essentially took no accountability for it and said, and more or less turned it back to what happens to them in Europe. And kind of this is how a road venue goes. But the throwing stuff and all of that, that's where it is. I don't think we had any of that at Hazeltine. We had the verbal stuff and the viciousness. And, Rory, I remember Feinstein sitting in that studio with you talking about, with Rory and Patrick Reed and going after the crowd and the middle finger. And that stuff was, it's fine. And even Rory had to, this week, he even said it yesterday. There were times where I couldn't help myself and went Cheryl Reeve on him and told him to bleep off and then stuck one to like 4 feet.
Yeah, I did. Right afterwards. It was pretty impressive.
So, because I do think some of that should be part of the Ryder Cup, but not to this level.
I agree. There's a middle ground, and maybe the middle ground's impossible in 2025. That's the sad part about it.
Especially with the booze and everything that comes with it.
It should be different, I think, than your average golf tournament because that's part of the spice of it. That's what adds to the drama, I think, and the intensity of it. But whatever this was, and I, again, what made it especially bad, I have no patience for fans who can't accept that their side is losing. Their team is losing or their individual player is struggling, whatever the case may be, and they want to make it about other stuff, whether it's officiating or just I'm just gonna lash out, whatever bleep you, I don't care. I paid my money, I can do whatever I want to do. And it's such a pathetic look because what it really is acknowledging is I'm frustrated. I can't believe the U.S. is as behind as they are after 2 days, and it's pissing me off. And so I'm just going to let loose with it. It's like, well, no, the problem is that's why that's part of what you're frustrated by is your team is not doing very well. And I guess you want to blame it on somebody else or you want to change the subject. It's a very feeble look of losers as far as I'm concerned. Top of the hour break. We got one more Vikings talking point to get to.
Can I do better late, way late than never?
Yes, sure.
We always screw up, or I do. Bonus bucks the first couple of days.
Well, part of it is I'm not conditioned for it again, and I try to hit the break quickly, and then I forget that you sometimes have to add that.
Grand is the final keyword of the night. It's our national cash contest. Thanks to 2 men and a junk truck. They want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks. KFAN.com, and the keyword is grand. Jesse Cook is bringing a Night of Laughs to the Fitzgerald Theater October 4th. That's this weekend. Catch one of two shows, including a special taping. Tickets are available now. Full details at KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
We call our final Vikings talking point of today's broadcast wasting the horseshoe.
Down from under center. It's a flip left, and Jordan Mason is able to make a Steeler miss at the 45. Ball came out. No! It's picked up by Jalen Ramsey. 40, 30, 20. Touchdown, Pittsburgh Steelers. Jalen Ramsey with a defensive touchdown, his second defensive touchdown of his career. And on a Jordan Mason fumble, the Steelers have taken a 6-0 lead.
After reviewing the play, there was a fumble. However, it was touched out of bounds by a player who was out of bounds.
Yes.
The ball is returned to Minnesota.
Whoa. Carson Wentz, who's out of the shotgun facing a blitz. He's going to throw one right side. Jordan Addison, wide open, caught at the 50, to the 30, 20, and dives for the end zone, stopped at the 1. Peyton Wilson, I told you that North Carolina State linebacker was fast. He just caught Jordan Addison from behind, but nevertheless, a 71-yard hit. Wentz to Jordan Addison, and for Jordan Addison, that's a career-long.
So I don't know what they're doing here.
It's 4th and a little less than 1.
Wow.
Play clock's down to 5. They better hurry. 3. Rodgers under center. 4th and 1. Nope. Throw the flag. There it is. Delay a game. Perhaps by intention.
Yeah.
To get him back to the 45.
Give the punter a little bit more room.
See that foolishness by the Pittsburgh Steelers on 4th and goal from like the 3.
Yeah.
When they went for it, when they could have gotten a field goal, Boswell's not going to miss from there. This may end up biting them, man.
Well, it already has the fact that this game's coming down to this.
Right.
A little over a minute left for the Vikings to go. Paul, how about the throw that Rodgers missed? That stops the clock on that same drive. So there were a couple mistakes there. Now, all we need now is for the punter to put it out of the back of the end zone.
Mm-hmm. Down 24-21 with no timeouts. Come on, Carson. Goes back to pass, looking left. Throws to the left side, and is that intercepted? That's intercepted to win the game. Are you kidding me? Holy cow. Chuck Clark.
What a play by Chuck Clark.
What a great catch by Chuck Clark near side right in front of his coach, Mike Tomlin.
Or is it?
But all turnovers are reviewed. We're going to see if he was bobbling this.
After reviewing the play, it is an incomplete pass.
Hey, how about that? Incomplete pass, you say?
How about that? Because he didn't have possession.
The Steelers fan to my left is just all over. My man, he was bobbling the ball. Yeah, he was bobbling it. Yeah. Are you unhappy? No! I'd have a good time with this. Hey, my man, how'd you guys feel about that 4th and goal from the 3 down there? What?
Very bad call.
It was unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
All right. Hey, man, you guys are the best.
How many horseshoes can you get in one game?
There were a few.
In your favor. Now, fairness, the FIHA Act, Fairness in Horseshoe Act, we must say there was one lucky break for A-Rod and the Steelers. The fumble after his only scramble, really, of the game, and the ball comes right up to a lineman who happened to be heading right, trailing the play, which, by the way, is alert. That's what they tell your lineman you're supposed to do.
Greg Olson said it.
But it went right back up to him. So that was the Steelers' most significant horseshoe, but we had plenty of horseshoes, and we still found a way to squander it, unfortunately, down the stretch. So it's a bad loss, man. There's just no getting around it. You're sitting now at 500 during the softest part of your schedule with significant injury issues that might well contribute to your quarterback, likely Carson Wentz, being tortured in this next game against a Cleveland defense that's supposed to be better than the Steelers.
Can I give you the Brian O'Neill update from Ian Rappaport?
Yes.
The MRI has confirmed that Brian O'Neill sprained his MCL on Sunday, taking him off the field. He's week to week, but no surgery is required. So he's week to week, which means he's probably out until Philly, right? at best.
That sounds right.
He's out for this game, the bye, obviously, and then.
By the way, there's no desire. KOC has no desire to start J.J. McCarthy, even if he was healthy for this game.
No.
Do you think?
You can't.
I just don't think you can. I mean, again, Carson Wentz didn't play a perfect game by any means. I thought he hung in pretty well, all things considered. And I still think, given the injuries to your offensive line, you do not want to throw. If you have to sacrifice anybody, you'd rather sacrifice your backup quarterback, even though your backup quarterback might have to end up playing even more of this season, depending on how it indeed goes. So I don't think
see Brosmer Sunday morning. I'm just telling you,
anything's possible at this point. Nothing would surprise me at this point. I don't think he'll start him.
No,
but he could. Yeah,
I'm saying.
I honestly thought there was a chance he was going to be in this last game because there were a couple times where Wentz looked battered.
He did.
He looked really, really like he was getting physically punished, and he's a bigger guy.
Yes, he is.
Than J.J. McCarthy, right? He's not a slight man.
No, he's big
by any stretch of the imagination.
But I'm guessing he was thinking his couch in Fargo, where he was 10 minutes ago.
You might be right.
Was a little bit better than what was going on in Dublin.
Ryder Cup fans swearing, throwing things over the top, heckling are not golf fans. They're drunk morons. Spot on. We can't do anything in moderation 2025, whether it's politics, the Ryder Cup, it all has to be over the top. Hoping we can change it in 2029 in Minnesota so I can feel comfortable taking my kids to the tournament as currently planned. Well, that's assuming that the world won't be done by then.
Interesting.
Or that we'll still be a country by then. I mean, there's a lot of variables.
That's true. What do we do?
He's assuming, projecting, doing a lot of projecting there.
What if we do if there is no United States? How do we pick a team?
That's
Who gets
a good
to be
question.
captain?
It's a very good question. Governor Walz said back in 2016 that the rowdy patrons at the Ryder Cup were not from here. They were from out of state. A brilliant, absolutely brilliant callback. Such a get off my lawn take, Dan. It's supposed to be a booze-filled fun event, Danny.
No, it's not.
You'll be complaining about the same stuff next Ryder Cup. No, it's
fun, yes.
Yes.
Booze-filled, yes. Maybe you can't have both.
But see, that if he means it, if he's not just doing it for the bit, 763 guy, he's the problem. He's in that mode that's, what's the difference? Come on, we're having fun out here. Oh, so what? So we're ruffling some feathers. That's what we're here to do. And they don't understand degrees. They don't understand gradations. And if you live in that world, then there are no boundaries, right? And that's what I appreciate about what Tom Watson had to say. I mean, Tom Watson's a pretty competitive guy. It had to burn. I'm sure he didn't love the fact that the U.S. lost.
People do not like losing the Ryder Cup.
No, there's no question about that. But I think he's trying to make a larger point that's when you show what you're about. Even when your team loses, you're willing to rise above that and make it about the behavior rather than lashing out because you're frustrated that your team didn't win, or you think, I'm going to be on video. What are they going to do to me? Everybody's getting into it. What's the big deal? Get off my lawn. That's you're just get off my lawn, guy. Get off my lawn has nothing to do with this discussion at all. But if you don't care about any standards, then it's easy. God, I hope that guy doesn't have kids. I really do, but chances are, unfortunately, he might. I'm not sure. Let's do this. Let's pause. No grand in your hand this hour.
Not
correct?
For the 6.
That's what I thought. We'll come back, wrap up the show, remind you what we might have coming up on tomorrow's broadcast, and maybe even any final thoughts regarding your Minnesota Vikings, Cheryl Reeve, the Ryder Cup. The Gophers probably did get short shrift today. It was in the top 5, the football team. We'll probably have time to get back to that in more detail tomorrow as well.
Show Wrap is brought to you by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washer since 1975.
It's the Bumper to Bumper Show Wrap.
I want to thank Ben Lieber, who joined us from across the pond today. Adam Thielen will join on tomorrow's show. Usually he's the day after Vikings games, but because of the time difference, he will be with us tomorrow. Maybe Seifert tomorrow. Johnny Athletic, we expect. That's confirmed for tomorrow, right?
Should be, yeah.
And we'll find out a little bit more about how Seifert's schedule will work with the time difference as well.
It's almost Louis season, too.
That's true. It's right around the corner. Something's got to give, by the way, in this first Monday night game. Jets 0-3 versus Dolphins 0-3.
Yeah, big one.
And then the second game is your favorite head coach, coached by the Broncos.
Yeah, Sean Payton.
And the Cincinnati Bengals.
Can't wait to fall asleep to that.
And these are staggered games because that game starts at 7 Central.
Correct.
So we're back to the staggered approach. Neither matchup excites me, to be honest.
Nope.
But what are you going to do, especially this early in the season? Marty in Richfield writes, I was at Hazeltine in 2016. It was just a lot of USA chants. I don't remember the stupid insults and completely disgusting stuff. My recollection now that's coming back to me is there was some concern early, and then it's seeming, what I want to believe is it was fairly effectively addressed.
They tossed a couple of people.
And then from that point forward, it was pretty much under control.
Yes.
Right?
And extremely fun.
And it was extremely fun.
In terms of the players getting into it, yelling back at the fans, Rory saying, I can't hear you.
Yes.
Which was awesome.
But it was competitive, but it was not stupid and irrational. That's the way it ended up being over the weekend in Bethpage. In fact, let me see if we have time for the one quote that got my attention here. European Ryder Cup. Where did it go? I thought I had it. Here's the Tom Watson quote, which we quoted earlier, but it was somebody responding to it. At one point, one of the announcers said calmly, I don't feel safe. His partner agreed. Now, I don't know what the circumstances were there, but I mean, come on. And I'm sure they were not unsafe. But it really shouldn't be all that complicated to figure out the limits and still be competitive and still even, give some back and forth, that sort of thing. But let's be honest, booze becomes part of the story. And in 2025, I think people just are there are too many people who are pretty much in that mode of, bleep it. I don't care what the rules have been before. Yeah. It's all changed now.
Well, and this is so deep. I mean, I'm sure we'll be doing think pieces on it, but the ticket prices, how expensive it is to get in there.
Yeah,
you're talking about, I think the kids like to call it BDE, and people roll up with, a lot of money and a lot of ego, and they never get told.
No, that's true.
We get to do what we want when we want to do it.
Rocco's gone.
I know.
I texted him. Best wishes. Hopefully we can chat with him down the road, even if it's not on air. Rocco Baldelli fired as Twins manager. I will stand by my position that if I'm ranking problems for this team, he's not very high on the list at all, and that if I'm ranking problems within big names in this organization, I'm going to put it more on Falvey in terms of the material given. Quite frankly, at the trade deadline, the material taken away. At the top of the food chain, of course, it's ownership. We understand that. Even Falvey is handcuffed to a certain degree.
Yeah.
But I think firing a manager a couple of months after you gut at least one significant aspect of the team is cheap looking. It's classless. It sends the same message that this organization keeps sending. If we can do the wrong thing at the wrong time, by God, we're the organization you should root for, because that's what we do better than any organization in this town, and certainly better than any organization in Major League Baseball as well. Do we have both games on the Fan tonight?
It says we do. I think they'll stagger it a little bit too. I'm not sure exactly. Yeah.
Where was Harlan? Was Harlan? I didn't hear Harlan on the radio call last night. Was he at our game? Westwood, was there a Westwood 1?
Westwood 1, yes, but no, he was not doing it.
Okay, maybe he had just had the week off.
I think he's doing the games tonight.
Oh, maybe. Oh, that's true. Yeah, what am I thinking?
He
just
played his liner.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Media. So we'll get a report on Wolves Media's Media Day.
Yep.
From Johnny Athletic. Correct.
Yep. The Lynx have their season ender tomorrow.
Oh, that could be juicy.
That could be very interesting.
Who's going to be there to ask the questions? I want to know. Is Lavelle going to be there?
Well, he's about to land.
Ken Youngblood can't be there anymore.
No.
Because he's not I guess he could be there, but he's not covering the team anymore, correct?
Yeah, we'll find out, I guess,
who's going to be asking the questions? That should be... And what will the Reeve approach be? Even more combative? I'm guessing yes.
Yes.
I don't think she's going to back down at all. Yeah.
That's not really her nature, right?
No. She certainly didn't a year ago, so I don't think she... And this time... And I think she had a lot more people in her corner a year ago than she does under the
Chris Brennan be
current nonsense. There's your story. How about Indiana? They forced a Game 5.
I know.
The Caitlin Clark leadership on the bench, unprecedented. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your vision, for your spirituality, for healing me. Mostly, though, Dan, thank you for my life.